Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another meal prep video for you. This is going to be meal prep for my family of 4. This was actually filmed right after my huge monthly grocery shopping trip. So I have lots of meat that needs to get put away into the freezer, lots of fruit and veggie prep, as well as a couple of other things. So I'm sharing all of that with you today. If you are new here, definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you. And let's go ahead and get into today's meal prep. To start off, I'm making a healthier version of an apple pie oatmeal cookie. These turned out really good. So I'm starting off by mixing up all of my dry ingredients. So I have 1 cup of quick oats, 3/4 cup of wheat flour, and then I'm also going to be adding in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, about 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and I'm just gonna mix all of that together. After you have mixed up all of your dry ingredients, then you're going to get your wet ingredients ready. So I'm adding in 1 egg, about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I just melted that in the microwave. And then you're also going to want to add in some vanilla. I did about 1 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. I mixed that together. I actually forgot to add in the honey. So the recipe actually called for about 1/2 cup, but I actually opted to only do about 1/4 cup just to make it a little bit less sweet for my kids. So here I'm adding in that 1/4 cup of honey, and just because I didn't add in the full amount, I also added in 1 tablespoon of water, and that ended up being the right consistency for these cookies. I'm also adding in about 1 cup of a diced apple. I did make sure that it was really finely diced, and I just left the skins right on there and it turned out totally fine. So I'm just getting all of this mixed together, and then I let it chill for just about 10 minutes to kind of let everything firm up a little bit. Now we are heading over to my cookie sheets. I do always like to use the air bake ones. I've had these for years and they work so well. I will have the ones that I use linked down below, but they're pretty affordable and they definitely make a big difference when it comes to baking cookies. So that's what I'm using here. I just sprayed them with a little bit of some vegetable oil, and then I am just rolling these cookies out into balls. I would say they're about 1/4 cup in size if I had to guess. So these were super easy. Once I had chilled them a little bit, they rolled right out with my hands. I'm just baking these cookies in a 325-degree oven for just about 15 minutes until they were starting to firm up a little bit. These cookies were really good. They definitely weren't overly sweet since I cut the honey by half, but my kids really enjoyed them and I definitely really liked them as well. Now we are moving on to prepping all of the meat. So if you watch my grocery hauls or some of my other meal prep videos, you know that I always like to get my chicken fresh. I just really prefer it that way. So usually I will buy all of our chicken at the beginning of the month. I'll buy it fresh and then I will individually package everything and freeze it. It's a little bit more work this way than buying frozen chicken, but I just feel like the quality is a lot better. So what I'm doing right now is actually cutting up some chicken into cubes. This was actually for dinner that night, but the rest of this chicken is going to get prepped and put in the freezer. I'm just storing all of this chunked up chicken in a little Tupperware container until dinner. Don't worry, I washed my hands before touching anything and before putting it in the fridge, but now I'm moving on to prepping all of the chicken to go into the freezer. So I actually saw this tip on Kelly's Corner a while back. It's been a long time, but I will usually either prep my chicken in quart-sized Ziplocs and I'll just store it each individual breast in 1 bag. But if you want a little bit of a more budget-friendly version, it's actually cheaper to put each individual breast into a fold-over sandwich bag and then put those bags into a gallon Ziploc. It's really easy to take them out this way, so either way will work, but make sure if you put them in a sandwich bag, then you will put them in a freezer bag after that. And I do like both ways, so either way works, but I'm just getting all of this chicken prepped and ready to go. Now you might be wondering why I don't just buy one package of chicken every single week, and there's a reason for that. I've tried doing it that way, but I found that I would put the chicken in my fridge, I'd use like half of the package, and then the other half would end up sitting there and it would go bad before I ended up freezing it. So I definitely think it saves money for us to just buy it all at the beginning of the month, make sure it gets frozen, and then I will try to remember to take it out the night before, so it's really easy for me to work with. Or my other option, if I forget to take it out in advance, I will thaw it in cold water. I definitely make sure to do the cold water because it's a lot safer that way. Or sometimes I will throw it in the microwave on the defrost setting, and it's also another safe way to do it like that. Now I have my 2 bags of chicken all prepped and ready to go for the month. I'm getting rid of all of the garbage, and then of course I need to disinfect my working surface. I really like to use these 7th generation disinfectant wipes. They're definitely my favorite when it comes to disinfecting my countertops, so I'm just giving that a really good wipe down and letting it dry before moving on to the rest of this meal prep. I shared this tip in a different meal prep video and you guys all really liked it, and I think it's very helpful, so I want to share it again. So I always prep my creamer in advance, so I only use 1 thing of creamer for the whole entire month, and it used to always go bad on me. It would expire before I could use it up, so then I would buy a second bottle of creamer even though I didn't need one. So I always like to freeze part of my creamer and then I will pull it out towards the end of the month, and it works really well. Sometimes I will just stick it in there like this, but on this day I did decide to go ahead and label it. You can also do this with half and half or whipping cream, and that works really well too. So just a little tip, if you ever have something that's going to go bad, go ahead and just pop it in your freezer in a mason jar, and it works out really well that way. One of the best things that I have learned to do as a mom is prep all of our fruits and veggies ahead of time. I find that if I have it prepped and ready to go in the fridge, it makes it really easy for my kids to have a nice nutritious snack. So most of the time I will always have carrots sliced up in there. I will have cucumbers, peppers, apples. It just depends on what we have on hand. But right now I'm getting some of these carrots washed up. They're actually from my sister-in-law from her garden. They were really good carrots, super sweet and delicious. So I just scrubbed those down, and now I'm actually going to let them soak in some cold water with some vinegar. I pretty much do this with all of my produce. I'm also throwing my peppers and my cucumbers in there, and I'm just letting them soak for about 5 minutes. All of my peppers and my carrots have soaked for about 5 minutes, so I'm just rinsing them off with cold water, and then I'm going to be filling up my salad spinner with some vinegar and cold water just like I did before, but now I'm dumping in my blueberries. This was a huge thing of blueberries, and it lasted a couple weeks in our fridge when I prepped them this way, so I really like to give my berries a really good soak. Now for my favorite part of the prep is just getting everything cut up. So I don't know what it is about cutting up vegetables. I find it really soothing. I should say it's very soothing as long as my kids are sleeping. I do a lot of this during nap time, but I love having all of these fruits and veggies just prepped in my fridge. I give them a really good healthy snack, and it's also easy for me. This makes it easy for me to grab carrots, peppers, whatever they want, instead of grabbing something a little more junky like crackers, carbs, that kind of thing. So I really like to have all of this stuff prepped up. So these are the carrots. I just slice them into sticks. Only my son will eat these carrots. I don't give them to my daughter just because she's only 1 and I worry about her choking. So I've got all the carrots prepped, and then I'm also moving on to cucumbers. Cucumbers are one of my kids' all-time favorite snacks. Between my son and my daughter, they will eat a whole cucumber in 1 sitting. So a lot of times I will prep a couple of these at a time, and they will last about 2 days. I get a lot of questions about what knives I use in my prep videos. So I have had these knives for years. They are the Kyocera brand knives, and I absolutely love them. They are ceramic knives. They're super sharp. They're definitely not super cheap knives, but I think they last so well. I think it's about $60 for the set of 3 knives that I have. I will have some linked down below. I absolutely love them. Highly recommend the Kyocera brand knives. They are a really, really good knife, and they stay very sharp for a very long time. Now we are heading back over to those blueberries. These are soaking for probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and I just like to give them a really good rinse off to make sure all of the vinegar is off of them. And then we are going over to my salad spinner and just spinning them out. So this is the OXO salad spinner. I've had it for a couple of months now, and I have to say I really do love it. It works really good, not just for salad, but for prepping any sort of fruit or veggie. I have been very impressed with this. So I will just spin out all of my fruit, and then I pour them into these Food Saver containers. These are the Rubbermaid brand ones. There's a lot of different ones out there, but I've been very happy with these Rubbermaid storage containers. I also did the same method for prepping all of my grapes. I just pulled them off of the stems, soaked them in some cold water with the vinegar, and now I'm just spinning them out in my salad spinner. And I'm gonna throw these into my Food Saver container as well. So the two types of fruits that I have found last the longest are blueberries. Those can usually last up to 2 weeks in these Food Saver containers when I prep them this way. And then the grapes will last a full week. Strawberries don't last quite as long, but those are my favorite fruits to prep. Now I'm moving on to getting my lettuce prepped. If you watch any of my What's for Dinner videos, you may notice that we have side salad a lot as a side dish. It's just really easy for me to have this prepped. I can pull it out of the fridge and I don't have to worry about a side. So I like to prep all of our lettuce in advance. So this is just one head of romaine lettuce. I'm just chopping it up and throwing it into my salad spinner. I'm gonna get this soaking in some cold water. And I also like to add some lemon juice in there. I find that the lemon juice actually helps prevent the lettuce from browning. So that's a little tip for you. I didn't add very much on this day just because I was running low, but I'm gonna let that soak for about 5 minutes before spinning it out in my salad spinner. That is actually going to wrap up this meal prep video. I really hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. I would love to have you over on my channel. I do a lot of food prep videos, what's for dinner, crock pot ideas, all kinds of food related content with a little bit of motherhood thrown into the mix. But that is going to wrap up today's video. I will catch you all next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.